So the next thing I'd like to do is just remove the water, visually remove it or hide it. Um, and and you can, if you go back to our kind of original layers, you can see that there's some aerosols or something in this image. And then there's, if you look at the other one, I think you should see also some aerosols in here. And when you look at the, you can even see some of the refraction of the waves coming in. Um, and so there's a lot of noise here, and the problem is a lot of people might interpret this noise. You can see just the wind, the ripples on the water from the wind blowing it, and how the conditions of the surf are going to be very different, and the conditions of the water are going to be very different in these two images, and so that's creating a lot of this noise. But there's going to be some people that think, well, wow, it really burned on the water. That's crazy. And if it was, Santa Barbara, there's natural oil slicks out there that could potentially smolder, but in Santa Cruz, it's unlikely. The basic idea is that people often want to really trust a map and or do trust a map and believe that what it shows you is somehow out there in the world. And so when you have a case like this where you have an obvious error in a part of your map, to help the trusting people, you just want to hide it so that they don't get confused. So let's go ahead and do that by adding a mask. And so I'm going to create the ocean mask and grab this. And I guess I don't tell you a lot, so I'm going to have to kind of give you some info here. It should be from, I should have a comment, but it should be um, from this data set. And there it is. So this is a DEM, a digital elevation model. We're going to talk about these more in the future, but we're going to use this one for now. So I'm going to create an ocean mask. If you are curious about this data set, you can go ahead and this is a global SR. We'll talk about elevation data in a couple of weeks. All you need to know is that the pixels in here represent elevation, and this is a global data set, which is nice. And I'm using it even though um, there are better data sets if we were just working in the US, but because this has global coverage and because Sentinel also has global coverage, so in theory you should be able to apply this script that we're running anywhere in the world. I'm going to use this global data set. So we're going to create, lowercase e dot image and then feed it that, but it needs to be a string. So we're going to start with that, and then I'm going to just print here ocean mask and ocean mask so that I know what we're doing, and then wink at it. And what we just loaded into this image is this thing here. And you can see that it has a bunch of bands. So we need to select the elevation band. And if I run that, it should be telling me that I now have an image that only has one band, elevation, which is what we want. And then let me go ahead and look at it and say map, add layer, ocean mask, and I'm going to let it come up with its own viz parameters. And this is my going to be my ocean mask, even though we're not done with it yet. So I'll say ocean mask false. Go ahead and run it. And so we should get at the top here um, the data set that is going to be all gray, and that's because I didn't define my min and max. But if I use my inspector and click around here, you should see that the ocean mask, as it thinks about it, 171. So let's just change this to see if it's between 0 and the peaks in Santa Cruz are not necessarily that tall, but we'll just say 4,000. So that's should be 0 being the ocean is 0 and is black, and the higher elevations are now white. And am I getting that? If I turn this off and I turn the ocean mask on, yeah, you can see, if we zoom out and you see the Sierras are whiter because they're over 4,000, and it's not 4,000 feet, it's probably 4,000 meters. Is that fair? But anyway, you're starting to see that what we have is a elevation data set for, should be for the world, which is kind of handy. Okay, so that's what that is, but we just want to grab the ocean, and we don't need this field, we need a binary map where the ocean is zero and everything that's not ocean is white. So let's just threshold this and say greater than zero. And this now, if I change this to 0 or 1, should give us a binary map of land and water where the land should be white and the water should be black. So then we can use this as a mask on our, and I'm just going to go up to this thing because it's getting late and I'm getting tired, but I'm just going to copy the last time that we drew the severity classes, bring it down here, and I just, on the fly, as we display them, I'm going to say update mask, ocean mask. And then this is going to be burn severities with ocean mask. And sure. And I'm going to just now, before I hit go, I'm going to turn this one to false because I only want one to display. Otherwise, the transparencies will look strange. So now if I go to here, how's my burn severity with a mask? Cool, right? Now we're just looking at the land. We got rid of all of that noisy ocean over there. Is that fair? Because we used this mask on top of this image so that the only thing that is showing through is this underlying image that's in the white of the ocean mask. Is that all right? So that looks pretty good. And now we're getting pretty close. We're done with our image, and now we're just going to start comparing the buildings to it to see which one's burned. So I'm going to say save a couple times and then move on.